Do you know what this is? This is a chuck roast. I'm gonna make another chuck roast this week. Diane, we already did pot roast. I don't want another pot roast with carrots and potatoes and celery. My family's not gonna eat that 2 weeks in a row. You know what? They're not. But here's how you switch it up and you trick them. So I took my chuck roast, I browned it in my Dutch oven in oil. I just seasoned it with salt and pepper. Then I browned it on each side and took it out. And then in my pot here, I have my onions and I have my celery already going. And I'm gonna dump a few potatoes in there. Not a lot of potatoes. Because I'm not serving it with mashed potatoes or grits. I'm gonna serve it with the beans. I made some beans the other day. I'll show those to you in a second. So in my pot right now is olive oil, I'm sorry, not olive oil, it's vegetable oil, my onions, my celery, and my potatoes. And this week I'm seasoning with tarragon, garlic, salt, and pepper. That's it. Because I want it to taste a little bit different because I'm going to add it to beans instead. So you have your chuck roast, you have your hard veggies that you have here, you have your seasoning. You're going to get all of that together, and then later I'm going to show you how to assemble it with the beans, but then also I'm going to grill some eggplant so it's a little bit healthier and it's going to be delicious. So stand by. All right, so my potatoes, celery, and carrots have been in the pot. I'm going to go ahead and add some butter because butter makes everything better. I'm going to add my butter, saute that up a little bit. I'm going to show you what this looks like. It's just got tarragon in it with the garlic, salt, and pepper. It looks delicious. All right, I got my oven preheated to 275. I have my pot roast that I've browned. I'm just going to pop that in there, get it settled. Sitting on top of the vegetables. I'm going to show you. She's sitting on top of the vegetables. Now I am going to cover it with the lid. Shabam. And I am going to put it in the oven for 2.5 hours. And that's it. And then when it's done, it's going to be shredded. And then I'll show you my beans. All right. Pot roast is in. It's going to be in there for 2 hours and 30 minutes. And then I'm going to check it. But in the meantime, you can do one of two things. You can cook your beans. You can use canned beans. You could do mashed potatoes. You could do grits. I did some beans. So what I did was I took a bag of dried beans. I soaked them for 24 hours, rinsed them, put them into a pot, filled the pot up with water. I boiled them for about 3 hours on low because I went outside and did some yard work and would just keep coming in and stirring them. And I put in some thyme. That was it. A little bit of pepper and salt. Not a lot. So what I did was I cooked them, then I drained them, and then I let them sit for a little bit, put a little bit of that bean water back in there so that they would be creamy. So my beans are very, very creamy. That's a little bit of butter because I just threw some butter in there. So now this is what I'm going to serve with my pot roast because I'm kind of tired of eating grits and mashed potatoes and we need to get more beans into our diet. So this is what the pot roast is going to go with. So right now we're going to wait for 2.5 hours while that pot roast cooks. I'm going to turn my beans on low just to start heating back up so they're going to be ready by the time dinner is ready. And then I'm going to eventually take this eggplant, peel it, saute it, dice it, and kind of sprinkle it over the top of the pot roast because we need to get more veggies in. And then I have some mushrooms. I'm going to do the same. So there's a lot going on here today, but I'm trying to make it healthy and not be the same all the time, week after week. Okay. It's been 2.5 hours and my pot roast, when I take my forks and try to pull it apart, it's still tight. So guess what? It's not done. Back in the oven for another 30 minutes. Another 30 minutes and it was finished. So now I'm going to take my 2 forks. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to just break it apart with my forks. And we're going to get big chunks of meat. I'm going to bring one to show you. Big chunks of meat. So I'm going to continue shredding this. And then I'm going to let it rest for a little bit. And it's going to reabsorb some of the juices that are down in there. And then we will prepare our eggplant. We're going to skin it and cut it. All right, it's time to do our eggplant. Already rinsed it. Gonna cut the top off. Throw that in the composting. cut the bottom off. I'm going to peel it. Why are we going to peel it? Because this is tough. The skin is tough. Unless you bake it, that's really the only way it becomes soft. So I am going to peel it like so. I'm going to throw those little bits into my composting. I have my pan on right here, my skillet that I love so much. I have it getting hot, and then I'm going to sprinkle some vegetable oil, canola oil. I'm not sure what I have in my little container there this time. All right, done. Get these big pieces off. And we're just going to do a little saute, and it's going to be delicious with our pot roast. Okay, so I'm going to do big rounds. And then I'm going to cut them in fours. And I'm going to sprinkle my vegetable oil, and I'm going to just toss these on there. Then we have to figure out, what are we going to season them with? I'm going to just do salt and pepper. I don't think we need to do a lot because we have the pot roast that was seasoned with the tarragon. We have onions in there. We have a few little potatoes. I'm going to have some mushrooms that I'm going to saute. So there's going to be plenty of vegetables that go with it. Ooh, we lost one. Man down. Man down. Okay, we'll do this last one. All right. Put a little olive oil on there. My mushrooms. You know, I love to buy my mushrooms. I'm just going to half them. I'm going to throw those on there. I did a little dusting off the tops before I put them in this bag, so they were already ready to go. You never want to wash mushrooms because mushrooms absorb the water, and then if they absorb the water, they're not going to release it. They're going to get mushy. So you never want to completely submerge mushrooms. You just want to dab off the dirt that you see. All right, my grill is full. Looks good. That eggplant soaked up the oil, so I am going to add more oil. Get it going. I'm going to do my fresh cracked pepper. I'm going to do salt. And then we're going to get our little tongs out. Do a little swishy swish. We just want to brown these up. I don't like to cook eggplant all the way through. I don't like it to get mushy. I like it to be a little firm. So we're really just kind of browning the ends. I'm going to keep this up pretty high. And same with the mushrooms. All right. I will be back. Ooh, they're already cooking. Looking good. I will be back and show you how to put this all together. It's time to eat. Are you ready? Okay. Grab your favorite bowl. Grab my spoon. I'm going to put some beans down first. They're creamy. They're not super flavorful like with a lot of seasoning because everything else has so much seasoning. They're just really kind of our base. So if you don't want to use beans, you could use mashed potatoes, grits, noodles, things like that. All right, I'm going to do some pot roast. My mom came over and she was so excited. She's hungry for pot roast. I'm going to put some the onions, the celery, a little bit of that juice with the meat, and then I'm going to go ahead and put on a couple pieces of eggplant. I love the smell of cooked mushrooms. They're so good. Put a little bit of mushroom on there. How can you not love this? It's going to be good. Okay, I'm going to turn my heat off because that pan is really, really hot, so it's going to still cook that. Went outside and cut some green onions out of my garden, so I'm going to do some green onions on top for garnish because, you know, it's all in the presentation. Ooh, that looks good. Okay, I'm going to do a little fresh cracked pepper on top, and we are done. So that is your pot roast with tarragon on white beans with some eggplant, some mushrooms. It's so good. I hope that you learned something, and if you have any questions, give me a call. Have a great day.